The Rebel Capitalist Show.
I'm someone that believes that a private company should have the right to do whatever they want. But where it gets a little murky is the system we have right now isn't really a free market, because these tech giants have been able to create monopoly with the help of government. And I think that if you just got government regulation out of the way, that we would get a lot of competing entities. And at the end of the day, if you don't have to use Facebook, I don't know that it really destroys your life to that great of a degree. But I think it's this crony capitalism that we have right now that really limits the healthy competition, and therefore puts this moat of isolation around these kind of, let's call them tech monopolies. So if they're the ones that control everything, I mean, aren't we on the same slippery slope that we are with big governments controlling our lives?
Yeah. And the tithe, the tax you pay to the tech company will be your data.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But see,
Yeah,
then that data goes to the
slippery
government
slope.
because they're in bed with the government.
Yeah, I agree. There's an unholy alliance going on between the two that suits them both. Google does a lot of the police's work for it, for example, reporting, like, if it gets a hint that you're involved in child pornography or something by reading your emails, then it'll report you to the police. So there is we don't know, but we do know that kind of stuff's going on. So they are working together. And
Dominic, do you guys have DMV or the equivalent in the UK? That's just the local little government office where you go down and get your driver's license, and they give you the title to your car. And I'm sure you guys have an equivalent there, but it's not called DMV.
We have, that would be the DVLA, the driving vehicle licenses. I don't know what it stands for, but that's actually an office. They've got an office in Swansea in Wales. So everything, but we do have local councils.
Well, I was going to tell you a story. So in the States, we've got something called DMV.
Yeah.
And I had a car registered in Arizona a few months back, and I didn't even realize it at the time. But when I went to get the registration, they didn't give me the paper title to the car, which you would normally have and give to the buyer. Bless you. If you were to sell the car, just like you always get for the last 30 years that I've been buying and selling cars. So anyway, I went to sell the car. Where's the title? Don't know. Oh, it's paperless title. So then I'm like, okay, well, how do I get the physical piece of paper to give to the guy that's buying the car? And I had to go and create an online profile with the DMV. And I'm like, okay, I already don't like this, but it is what it is, right? So then they keep going, and now I've got to verify my email address. Now I've got to verify through 15 text messages. Then I get to another portal where they say, okay, you've done all this verification, but now we'd like to verify you through you downloading our app and then using facial recognition. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? And then through that last email that they sent me through the verification process. So keep in mind, this is just a transaction between myself and DMV. But I look at who the last email came from to verify my account, and it came from Microsoft. So now all of a sudden you've got Microsoft that's running the back end of the Arizona DMV that is requiring you to access your title, to access your driver's license, to access your driving record in the future, to use facial recognition. And then all of that is being stored by our benevolent custodians over at Microsoft.
Yeah, and Microsoft aren't doing it for the USA. They're doing it for everyone, I imagine.
Yeah, and this is going back to your unholy trinity. This is what I'm a little concerned with. I wish we had a separation of church and state there.
Yeah, well, I agree. And it's the nature of technology. But I bet you Microsoft are doing it for several countries in South America and several countries in Europe as well. What are they doing with all that information? They can say we're not using it for anything, but you can bet your bottom dollar it's being monitored and stored.
Yeah, and also too, let's think about, they're probably doing the cameras for the grocery store. So when you walk into the grocery store, or maybe the cameras on the street corners, I'm sure you guys have a lot of those in the UK, where they're taking pictures of you in video as you're walking down the street or driving your car. That's using the facial recognition that they're matching up and requiring you to check in maybe once a month, and they're putting all of this together. I think where it goes inevitably is kind of a social score that will trump, for lack of a better word, your actual credit score when you go to get a loan or something.
100%. Tech is going to be everywhere in our lives. You're going to have little molars. You're going to have little bits of tech in your mouth. You're going to have like sensors in your hand that you can, with a chip that you can get on the bus. There'll be sensors in your clothes that monitor your heat. They'll give you little rewards if you wear these clothes in a certain, social situation where you're being photographed. You think of Alexa, your phone. What was it the other day? There was one the other day. I forget what it was, but I'll do the one that happened the week before. I was. I needed to get my ears cleaned out. I had blocked ears, and I phoned up the I'd literally got my phone up and texted the a Googled ear clinic near me, and phoned up an ear clinic, and then I opened my phone, and the next thing I know, Facebook's marketing ear suction clinics at me.
Right.
Within 5 minutes. Oh, I know what it was. I was doing a podcast with a guy who is a prosthetics expert, and he started telling me how he was inspired, make prosthetic arms and that kind of thing. And he started telling me how he was inspired to make prosthetic arms because he was a massive fan of Iron Man when he was a kid, the comic character Iron Man. And I always quite liked Iron Man, but I'd literally not mentioned Iron Man for maybe 10 years. And then I get back home, I go on my computer, I go to look on a website, I'm reading some blog or something, and it's advertising Iron Man, little Iron Man figurines at me. So my phone was listening to me, and my phone was off, not off, on, what do they call it? Airplane mode.
Right.
So, we are being listened to and monitored everywhere. And you can rest assured that your inappropriate speech will be monitored as well. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And for sure, when we go to central bank digital currencies, your social capital will matter as much as your, like before, they would have to look at how creditworthy is this guy? Do we lend him money or not?
Right.
But now it's going to be, how good is this guy?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Does he say the right things? Okay, we'll give him a more favorable interest rate. Or do you know what? We'll give him a more generous loan because he said the right things and he supports the administration. For sure, that's where we're going.
I've come to the exact same conclusions, and it's just, I want everyone to realize that I'm not talking in certainties. I'm only talking in probabilities. We could go a completely different direction. Hopefully we will. But what led you to draw those conclusions?
Well, I've been doing a bit of work on central bank digital currencies. I've written a few articles about them. Okay. And again, I've just written, I've got this, one of the chapters in this book is called Tech, Our New Rulers. And it makes the point of just how tech is going to be, like, there are now smart vibrators. Okay. Do you know what, like a woman's, and you can, a man can buy an oral sex simulator that has machine learning embedded into it so that the machine learns what you like from your oral sex simulator and gets better. Okay. This is tech in the most intimate areas of our lives. Do you know what I'm talking? And there'll be some kind of sensor in the bathroom when you're having a shower. So it's just so pervasive, and it will be and all the time data will be extracted and used and monitored and reused. And we have very little control over, your spending habits. There's it's really easy, like to make, like, for example, if you buy fresh fennel, that means you are a low insurance risk.
Yeah, right.
Like they've made the contact and they've found that they've studied this, that, and the other, and they found that people who buy fresh fennel are low insurance risk. Or another one like that was like,
I think organic food is like the same way too.
Well, I know it's specifically fresh fennel. And another one is if and Trump did this in the 2016 election that he won. They discovered that people who owned American cars were more likely to vote for Donald Trump, and people who owned foreign cars were more likely to vote for Hillary Clinton. So they then targeted. They found everyone who owned American cars in the swing states, in the key, the states that determine it. They found all the ones who hadn't voted for in the last few elections or were swing voters who owned American cars, and specifically targeted them. And so you're seeing there how data, an innocent thing like what make of car you have, can say all sorts of things about you that you had no idea. I think Facebook can ask you 5 questions, and after asking you those 5 questions, it's able to predict your answers to other stuff more effectively than your spouse. it's so it's so clever, machine learning, and it's just and so that is one trend that's going on.
Yeah,
and
right.
Then you see great attack, COVID, you see there's been this huge power grab with COVID from governments trying to control your movement, control your spending, furlough money, UBI, all these, higher taxes. Every dollar that the government prints is a dollar further expanded into the economy, a dollar further of government intervention in the economy.
Yeah, that's right.
Government reach increases with every dollar it prints.
Yeah, so government spending is a higher percentage of GDP with every dollar.
Yeah. No, but I mean, actual government state reach into our lives increases with every pound they print. And so you put all these dynamics together, you look at what is possible with central bank digital currencies, programmable money.
Yeah, right.
Like at least with cash, you can decide when you spend it and what you spend it on. And if you want to go and spend it on, weed from a drug dealer on the corner, you can. If you want to screw it up in a ball and whatever, you can. With programmable money, it's more convenient, but you don't have anything like as much control. And if the government says, no, you can't spend it on this, or you can't spend it on this certain retailer, or I'll tell you what they can do, expiry dates. If you thought inflation was eating away at the value of your money, wait till you get expiry dates. Oh no, we got a crisis. We don't want people saving. We need people to spend money for the national good. Expiry dates.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff is possible, and it's going to give that group of people, behavioral economists, they're going to have a field day. It just opens the door. Like people always use, or tax has always been used as a means to control and guide behavior. That's always, like, for example, a famous example, beard taxes. Peter the Great in Russia decided that he wanted Russia to be more like Western Europe, and beards were unfashionable. Never mind that it's freezing cold and people wear beards for a very sensible, practical reason. No, beards are unfashionable. I don't want people to have beards. So he imposed a beard tax. And if you had to hang a token from your beard that said the beard is a superfluous burden on one stage, and then on the other it said tax paid. And if you didn't hang this token from your beard, you could be forcibly shaven in public. So that's an example of, or you see it now, sugar taxes or taxes on fuel, it's for the green, it's for the environment. No, it's not. It's for your revenue. But they use it to guide and manipulate behavior. And we have a thing in the UK called the Ministry of Nudges, and I bet you've got something similar in the States. It's unofficially known as the Ministry of Nudges. But, if they want to manipulate and control your behavior, central bank digital currencies make that so much more possible. And that's where we're going. Fortunately, thank the Lord, we've got cryptocurrencies, and they will sort of keep it in check. Because if you've got expiry dates, I'll just keep Bitcoin because there's no expiry date on Bitcoin. Right. And so I do think, and they will normalize the use of wallets. So people get used to using wallets because they have the central bank digital currency wallet. So they'll almost be like an on-ramp into Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So thank goodness, because that's the only thing that will keep it in check.
Yeah.
The free market providing a better alternative.
Yeah, we've got that's it. That's the solution. Is the free market. We've just got to hope that it's still allowed to work and flourish in the future. I guess that's kind of the unknown.